Alright, I've seen some discussions recently on primary and secondary about the sight pictures through magnified optics via night vision. I haven't seen too many videos on it, so figured I'd grab a couple things and just take a look here. This is just in a living room, maybe 15 yards to a target down there, looking through a set of Mod 3 binocular night vision goggles from Nightlong. This is the FPRS recording system from Night Combat Solutions, and I'm just going to kind of run through a handful of handguns, carbines, and rifles. I'm by no means any sort of expert on this stuff. I've been playing around with night vision more lately, and just want to kind of show what it looks like down the sights, maybe why one system might be better than another, and hopefully it'll start some discussions on maybe how best to employ these things, whether that's operating the NVGs or choosing optics for particular dark applications. So let's start with some handguns. One of my favorites for night vision, this is a Glock 17. It's got night sights and it's also got an RMR on it. So if we sight down, you can see the night sights blooming there, and then the red dot showing up. With both eyes through the night vision, I can see the target really well. But if you were to use a single tube, you'd have some issues seeing the target because of the bloom from those night sights. This is just on auto. I could turn it up some. You'll see how bright it gets. But yeah, if you're going to be doing night vision with the red dot, maybe avoid the night sights. You can see even just my thumb covering those rear sights up, how much less it blooms. So something to consider there with the night sights. Switching to something that just has like a front night sight, just a Glock 19. It's got a blacked out rear, front night, but it's blooming out too much to be able to use. I could crank down the front of the tarsier here and get a little better view of it, but it's just so dark here inside. I could get a little extra light from a Surefire. And then as you crank down, you can see more things in focus. So that's actually usable, but that's with extra infrared energy there. So you can either keep focusing at infinity and crank it down, or you could move your focus up a little closer, get the sight, but again the target's completely blurry, so really tough to get the best of both worlds there. Got the IR off, open that back up. This would be just your standard blacked out rear, fiber front, so completely nothing here. Focused at infinity with no extra illumination. There's no way you can use those sights. Again, if you get some extra light in here with the Surefire, you'd have to crank down the aperture, make that usable. So then you can start seeing sights if you've got that better depth of field. But that fiber is really not picking anything up. So you're really just doing silhouettes against the target at that point. I guess next up, this is a different RMR. This is one with the fiber, so it's just picking up ambient light and then with the tritium inside it. And again, you've got night sights that you're working against. So those are real bright and they're blooming out the dot. But brightness wise, it works pretty good. If you, let's say I'll turn on the Viz light on the handgun here, and you'll see it blooms out, or it completely disappears. There's not enough brightness coming back into the fiber to be visible. So works pretty good, just under nods only, but you really got to watch out for those night sights, or just run duals so you can see the target through the other eye. Alright, moving on to carbines here. We've got a MRO, Trijicon red dot, so it's a 1 power. Looking through there, that's off. That's on the first like daylight setting. You pop down, that's 2, 1, big N, little n. So that's like the dimmest setting right there. Might not even be able to pick it up. That's the first night vision setting. Definitely getting a little bit of image darkening through the tube there. The tube of the optic. Get right up on it. So you can kind of see how that shows up. That I think is either 1 or 2. So that's nice and bright on the target. So okay, here's a T1. Again, 0. Even at 0, you can just barely make it out. Interesting. So there's 3, 4, 5 clicks. Real bright. Obviously, if you're just looking through that one tube, that's going to be tough, unless it's on like a brighter target you see in the room here. But on real dark blacked out targets, that's going to bloom too much. So you back it off, and that's better. Now if I turn the D-ball on, this is just a civilian one, go infrared, that's super bright in here, so it really just shows you how dark it is in the house here. So infrared low, and then we can go vis green. You start to see the beam, and it's super bright in here. When you start getting some extra energy heading downrange. So again, there's the red dot. All right, grabbed the iron sights just to compare. We've got just a M16. With this amount of light, it's almost impossible to see. So if I turn the Surefire on, start looking down the sights, I get a sharpening effect when I look through the rear aperture. And if I close it down a little bit, I can really start to actually use that aperture. It's tough to pick up the target, but if you have enough extra light to light things up, you can start to use those iron sights pretty well. Cut that. Alright, onto the rifles with variable power. If I look down this one, get almost nothing here in the dark. Oh, that's because there's scope caps down. Look at that. So, back at 1 power, you're really not picking much up, and it's actually pretty blurry at the normal focus. So, something to consider there. If I focus for the 1 power, target looks fine, but if you just have a single tube, that's not going to be very useful to you unless you're looking through it. So, 1 power, there's some illumination. Scroll up to 6 power, you start needing to refocus again. Getting a bunch of reflections there off the glass too. So anything past about 3 power gets kind of rough. So there we can see the target pretty good. So it's really pretty variable. As you zoom in, you're losing focus. It's not tracking real well. So that's a 1:6. And then last, we've got a bolt gun here with, I believe, a 5-25 Vortex. Again, probably not going to be enough light to get an image here, so I'll turn the Surefire on again. It's a Vampire, so it's throwing infrared energy right now. If I get down behind it, let's see, I have to focus there to even get a reticle. Take that off, maybe. Get just a little bit of extra light. Yeah, it's almost impossible there. With no extra light, I'm seeing stuff pretty sharp, but it's probably going to be too dark there for the camera to even pick it up. So I will, I'll take stuff outside here in the near future so we can give that a try, compare the longer range optics. But really when you're getting into the magnified optics, there's so many more planes of glass that you need to make sure are in focus, from your eye all the way to the front of the scope. That there's a lot more challenges in focusing your NVG, in focusing the eyepiece of your scope. So switching between day and nighttime, it's really not as straightforward as you might imagine. If you've got a big bolt gun setup, obviously a dedicated clip-on night vision scope would be fantastic. But trying to use a PVS 14 or a binocular setup through a magnified optic, there's going to be a ton of challenges. So definitely not the best option. On the carbines, the red dots look fantastic through the NVGs. The lasers are really the best option. And on the handguns, the night sights I think are going to work against what you're trying to accomplish with the NVGs. They're going to bloom and make it so that you can't see the target through that one tube. So if you're going to do a red dot on a pistol, do that, just that, and maybe black out the sights or do a fiber or something like that. That's going to help you in the daytime, but not detract when the lights go out. So that's what I got right now. Ask some questions. Let me know what your experiences are. I'm happy to pull something out. And like I said, I'll probably bring these bigger guns out to the range at some point in the evening so we can see full distances. I'm not able to get a good parallax here at such a close range, so it's really not a good test of the capabilities. All right, talk to you later.